My dad kicked me out to make room for his golden child, but when they begged me to take the fall for my half-brother's crime, I turned their scheme into their worst nightmare in front of a judge. I'm 20M, and this all started a year ago when my father decided I was no longer welcome at home. I remember that conversation vividly. He stood in the living room, arms folded, and announced, "We need more space. Your half-brother is moving in, and you've got to find someplace else." He said it so casually, as if kicking his oldest son to the curb was no big deal. I had just started a community college program and was working weekends at a hardware store. I asked why, and he shrugged, saying my half-brother, his golden child, deserved a comfortable home more than I did. I was stunned, but I left quietly, determined not to show him how hurt I was. My half-brother, 19M, was always the favorite. He got the new gadgets, the parental praise, and easy excuses for bad grades or lazy behavior. Meanwhile, I was expected to stand on my own. Eventually, I moved on, got a slightly better job, rented a small apartment, and tried not to dwell on the betrayal. Then came a call 2 weeks ago. My father's voice sounded nervous. "We need your help." He explained that my half-brother had gotten into serious legal trouble. He was accused of stealing high-value electronics from a neighbor's garage. The police had evidence, security footage, partial fingerprints, even text messages planning the theft. My father pleaded, "If you take the blame and just say it was you borrowing items, we'll hire a fancy lawyer and get you off with a slap on the wrist. Your half-brother can't have a criminal record, it'll ruin his future." I nearly laughed out loud. They wanted me to throw myself under the bus for the son they chose over me? They acted like I owed them loyalty, as if being kicked out wasn't enough humiliation. I should have hung up then, but instead I said, "Sure, I'll do it," so calmly that it surprised me. My father sounded relieved, promising money under the table, maybe even a place back in the house. The entitlement was off the charts. They assumed I would just comply. What they didn't know was that I'd saved old messages and recordings. I remembered how my father and half-brother bragged about fooling others and how they considered me disposable. Now they needed me to fall on my sword for their golden child. So I started planning my revenge. I reached out to a lawyer friend I had met at the hardware store. He was a regular customer who offered me casual legal advice sometimes. I explained my situation, and he suggested a strategy: pretend to agree, gather all evidence, then drop the truth bomb in court. So that's what I did. I told my father I'd testify that I took the items by mistake. My half-brother smirked during our last meeting, thinking he'd be in the clear. He even slipped me a few $100 as a thank you, as if buying my silence would let him think he won. I had a plan. A week before the trial, I asked my father and half-brother to meet me at a diner on the outskirts of town. I needed to get them on record somehow. My lawyer friend said in our state one-party consent is enough for recordings. Perfect. I arrived early and placed my phone in my jacket pocket with the recording app running. They walked in, my father looking tense and my half-brother in designer clothes sipping a latte he brought along. "No greeting, just you sure you'll do this? Because if you mess up, we're done helping you." I played my part, slumping my shoulders and speaking in a subdued tone. I said I would, didn't I? My half-brother smirked again.